Welcome to Partner 5 and 5. Robert here at Knight Solutions. Great to be back with another Procore Integration Partner. This time we've got Barry from IntelliWave, SiteSense. Big bit of a mouthful there, but good to have you on there, Barry. How you doing?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on, Robert. Barry Peyton. I'm the business development and partnership manager here at IntelliWave. We provide our SiteSense construction software.
Yeah, fantastic. I think most commonly known in the industry as SiteSense, which is the product, but obviously
That's
IntelliWave,
right.
the
That's
company.
right. Yep. Yep.
Uh,
You betcha. Yep. Based in Canada as well.
yeah, fantastic. Well, another let's say colonial friend brother, so which is
For
great.
sure.
So
Yep.
well, let's jump into it, Barry. Before we do, just if anyone hasn't seen this before, Partner 5 and 5, our attempt to really bring the best of Procore integrations to light for you in a quick format. We try and get through 5 questions, and we try and do it in 5 minutes. We haven't stuck to it yet, but we are working towards it. But really just to bring awareness to products like SiteSense and give you something to sort of find out a bit more about them and then take the next step to looking closer at the product if you're already using Procore. So let's jump into it, Barry. We'll jump into question one, which is the all-important one, kind of frame the conversation for those who may not have heard much about SiteSense before or what it does. What problems does it solve for those in construction?
You betcha. So SiteSense is a cloud and web-based application that really focuses on the construction effort or the execution side of projects. So things like materials and inventory management, planning efforts around that, modules related to track and trace, which really provides more visibility into workflow and progress for the project, and then also map-based interface. And then we also handle tools, assets, and equipment. So really think of us as really the solution that really helps to give visibility to the construction effort, really in a pre-procurement and post-procurement fashion. So that really helps our customers to have more visibility into actual availability of resources compared to kind of more manual-based reporting methods where we're, updating Excel files and those types of things.
So let's jump into the next question. So obviously you guys work with a range of different customers, GCs, builders as we call them, subcontractors as well. But be interested to know what the best fit, classic fit is for SiteSense, and then within
Yep.
that customer profile, what kind of roles tend to use SiteSense the most on a day-to-day basis?
For sure, yeah. So I mean, we focus on really enterprise builders, enterprise general contractors that really self-perform work in the field.
Okay.
Companies that purchase and manage materials, tools, consumables. We do service pretty much all verticals on a global scale, but definitely sweet spot is certainly around the industrial space, civil and infrastructure, commercial, whether it be widespread or vertical, and
Yeah.
even all the way down to small family residential. So there's a wide spread of essentially who uses the platform. And primarily our folks are really focused on supply chain, procurement, material management at the job site, and really just construction, folks that are managing the schedule or coordinating resources, for example, for the project.
Yeah, gotcha. So I think it'd be a key bridge then between potentially the office teams and the site teams out in the field. Yeah, one's
That's right.
preparing, one's receiving, and then executing. That makes a lot of sense. And you mentioned a lot with kind of GCs or what we call builders here, but obviously some bigger subcontractors might find a fit there, or
Definitely, yeah. I mean, subcontractors play a crucial role in the schedule as well, right? And I mean, at the end of the day, even construction management firms are really, looking to subcontractors to use tools like SiteSense to really just give more visibility. Because at the end of the day, they own the schedule, and any visibility they can get from the subcontractors really helps to drive, essentially what they're doing on the schedule of the project.
yeah, fantastic. All right. Well, look, I think for sake of time, let's jump forward to the next question, which I'm sure a lot of people are curious about. Is that if we have Procore or maybe we have SiteSense and we're looking at getting Procore, but once we have those two products together, how do they work together? What data moves back and forward? And what advantages does that provide for the customer?
For sure. So the most heavy integration we have with the modules in Procore is the financials tool within Procore. And realistically, the big thing there is that we look to help close the loop for vendor payment based on a commitment from Procore. So SiteSense goods receipt happens in the field after we sync down the commitments. Folks are not really chasing the job site to make sure that obviously invoices can be paid.
Mm,
They're not looking for status on delivery and defect and things like that. The
mm,
other aspect of what we look to as well is the issuance of material, for example. So if we talk about how folks are actually issuing materials, consumables to their projects, you can also have direct cost T&M or change event built back in Procore that have a financial transaction back up the physical transaction.
yeah, that's really good. And I think that first point you made as well, the it's definitely been on the projects I've run. It's definitely been a point of contention a few times. Materials were ordered, and then when they get there, there's confliction about should we be paying for what we received, what we didn't receive, and
Exactly.
I think closing that loop, which is not obviously native functionality in Procore. Procore's great at creating commitments. It's great at paying commitments, but the qualification of what was delivered, was it defective, correct, to specification, that sort of stuff is awesome. So I think a lot of people, especially ordering lots of materials and equipment on a project, huge benefit. You might have a few hundred, toilets arrive for a project or a whole bunch of timber. Being able to track that is awesome.
Or even just a simple entry in the daily log, right? We enter all those deliveries in the daily log, and that ultimately gives folks visibility in what's happening on the project.
Yeah, it's good to tie that actual back to the commitment. That's great. So, I mean, obviously, we're covering the surface of it. There's a lot more detail to SiteSense for sure, but let's say you've kind of heard the kind of high level stuff here and the critical aspects of it, and looking at maybe jumping on the SiteSense as a customer. What's the kind of onboarding process for you, and what's the support like going forward long term?
So we are, servicing customers globally. That process of implementation is pretty short. It could be 1 to 2 months essentially from kickoff to go live. So pretty short implementation period. And that is also, essentially you have various different folks assigned to your account on our side to make sure you're successful. We include all of that, service as part of your implementation. And really there's ongoing support as well that we offer with 24/7 access to email, support tickets, those types of things. And then a lot of times we'll even provide customization as well for feature enhancements, additional reporting, dashboards, etc. The usual stuff that really just helps folks be successful as a long-term user of SiteSense.
Yeah, I like that. What is in software terms a relatively short rollout for a pretty detailed system, a couple of months, which is great. And pretty well aligns with Procore, sort of fairly fast implementation, but knowing that you guys can customize some aspects, work with the customer's specific needs, because most customers do have some peculiarities or some differences, which is great. Jumping on the last question, and a little bit conscious of time as well. Looking forward, we're at the start of 2024 now. What's the plans for the rest of the year for SiteSense in terms of product changes, adaptations, or adjusting the integration with Procore? Any kind of new features coming forward?
For sure, yeah. I mean, we get customer requests all the time related to feedback related to the integration, so we're always making changes there. Simple ones, what might be related to bringing in estimates into the system, so we can then start planning and looking at constraint analysis for essentially how those are tied to inventory and alike. And then also from that perspective, things like trial allocation, rental agreements, a bit more mobility access for things that are being brought offline as well, like preservation and maintenance, and all these various different things that essentially are going to be really beneficial to our users. But one we're really excited about as well is using optical character recognition, so OCR, similar to expense scanning. We're going to be doing that for essentially goods receipt at site. So being able to scan paperwork, and that actually allows you to check in material even quicker than before. So think of a similar to be, an expense tracking solution, if you will.
Yeah. You load your invoices, it just sort of does all the work. I guess Procore's got a similar thing in the drawing space, but look, well, I sort of mentioned that earlier, be able to confirm what actually was received on site. That is huge, because being able to scan and automate that process, or automate the majority of it, is not only are you already doing it, but you're now going to make that faster and potentially more accurate as well. That's big. Some of those other things you mentioned around, I mean, they might seem like small things, but things like managing rental agreements, especially for big projects, you've got so much stuff on the project on rent. But that sounds like your product team is being busy and will be busy.
Very busy.
Yeah, that's good. That's always good. The health of a SaaS company is a busy product team. So that's always good to see. Well, look, it's been great doing an overview of SiteSense. I'm sure I know there's lots more under the hood there, but we'll provide some detail to anyone that's listening who wants to explore SiteSense and potentially how that connects to Procore and what that does, so they can reach out. But Barry, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Robert. Appreciate you having me.
Cheers. Thanks, Barry.
Yeah, bye now.